Looks like we have a vague downstairs system not operating call. The customer stated to the office that her downstairs did not seem to be operating at all. She did mention a basement apparently, so whether it's a basement unit operating in a basement unit operating the main floor, or possibly even a unit crammed in a crawl space, won't really know till we get there. If it is actually in a physical basement, it's very likely that it could be something like a condensation removal pump having some issues, or possibly the auxiliary drain pan filling up and having issues. So it could be fairly simple. On the other hand, it may be a low voltage issue, or maybe even a main power issue, something going on with the fan motor or relay. But we'll know in a moment when we get there. So I would say we have no power to this thermostat. Alright, so I don't really know what he heard running down here, but here's our pump we were talking about, and this would be going to our auxiliary switch that I was talking about. So we are cutting power, and yes, our pump is definitely 100% full of water. No activation, so they does look like they wired it into the unit for one reason or another when there was an outlet there, so not really understanding that. Let's pull this guy apart and see what we see. So first we'll just check and make sure it actually has power. Which I would say it does not. We're seeing a little bit of voltage, only about 14 volts. And on this particular one, our high voltage wiring, the big black and red, or white one rather, are coming in and just wiring it in. So we've got 14 volts where we should have 220. Just out of curiosity, I have 120 on that side. Nothing on that side. So we are losing 1/2 of our voltage, and that's why our pump's not operating. So let's try to find the breakers and see if we can restore power. Alright, so we've cycled our breakers. Let me get back in there. Now we do have our 240 volt power. However, our pump still did not activate. So let's take a look down here. I'll just remove this cover here. And this is all hot, so you don't want to touch any of that. We can see our water level is pretty high. So that would be our auxiliary or safety float switch that's wired here, cutting our power to our unit. This is our main float with a little relay to apply power to our motor to turn on the pump. So as the water level drops, the system turns back on. But our float, it seems to be somewhat floating by. I don't think that float's actually floating. What I'm also noting is the water level here is continuing to rise again. I don't know if you can see it. So basically, there's a little check valve in this stem or barb fitting, whatever you want to call it, to prevent water from flowing back in. But I believe we have a busted check valve, and our float does not appear to be actually floating in there. So in this particular case, he's going to need a new condensation removal pump. Not really a big deal to replace. We'll grab one and get him going. You can kind of see how it distends the vinyl tubing there, and it does get brittle over the years. So usually, rather than just put that back on, I like to cut it back off, get a fresh start. And it just slips over our barb. So we can just plug this guy up in our standard outlets. As far as our wiring here, this is just our low voltage cutoff. We can wire it through this switch. We do have the power off to the unit at the breaker. And even if we did happen to make contact with these particular wires, they are on the same side of the circuit, so it wouldn't short or anything if we did have power applied. Looking at it, this was actually a 115 volt pump that someone had wired in, which is kind of a no-no because the breaker on this guy is going to be probably a 5 kilowatt set of strips. So we're on a smaller appliance running about 5 amps on a breaker that's designed to handle this unit. So kind of a no-no. But we'll do away with that anyway. Just making sure none of my little copper strands are sticking out to touch something else. Yeah, they just had the opposite side of the pump tied into ground to give it 120 volts. And we're essentially using the ground as a neutral for the system. Which again, I'm not sure why they do that since we did have an outlet right there. But who knows, I wasn't here. Once again have power. I do believe I heard the blower turn on. You can hear my artificial leg clicking as I walk. So we are definitely running. I do feel and hear refrigerant running through the lines. So not too bad of a call. That's all it was a bad pump. And now we got to try to figure out how to get this guy out of here without making a terrible mess. Definitely not holding it that way. I'm just going to use a little foil tape to kind of secure this wire a little bit better. Just because I don't like it loose like that. Much better. And in case you were curious, sometimes these are glued. A lot of times in situations like this, you'll find that they are not. This is not really a pressurized line. So just the mechanical friction fitting, I guess you'd say, of the PVC inside the fittings is enough to prevent leakage. So a lot of cases you'll see them, especially with pumps, where they're not actually glued, so that if you do have to take this thing apart, clean it out, or replace this pump, it's easier to do without breaking. So whether or not, I know some companies glue them together, but I come across them all the time where they're not. And you know, just I guess a choice to be made. But in this particular case, it made it easy because it was not glued. But they're all done, taken care of, and we'll move along to the next one. Not too bad of a service call. For the average consumer slash homeowner, you may see that happen a few times in the equipment's lifetime. For us as a technician, you'll see that fairly regularly in the spring, summer, and fall time. could just be a backed up drain line causing it, going into an auxiliary pan up under the unit with a float switch. In the case of a condensation pump, they have their own built-in little float switch typically, just because, you know, there could be any number of electromechanical problems going on. That one, for instance, it looked like the float itself had perforated and got a little water in it, so it was not really floating anymore. On top of that, the check valve where the water comes out of the pump itself seemed like it was stuck open, so it would pump out, and if the pump was not running, all your water on your head pressure side of it would just flow back into the condensation pump. So it's probably running constantly up until the point that the float finally gave up. But got that replaced for them. Everything looked good. We were able to plug it right in. It was, I guess, whomever installed it originally thought it looked neater to run the cord into the unit and just attach to the 240 volt. They were, you figure your 240 volts, 120, 120. They were just attaching to one leg of it and using the system ground to ground their pump and to use it as a neutral, so that they essentially just had their 120 volts for the pump. I don't know about that personally. The pump itself means it's now on a 50 to 60 amp breaker, depending on the heat strips the system had. That one was on a 50 amp breaker, so now you have a 115 5 amp pump on a safety of 50 amps for breaker. Kind of not exactly sure about that one. And then on the other side of that, I'm not entirely sure about the using the safety ground as a neutral. It is technically the way, if you come across a lot of older structures, older homes, your neutral and your ground is the same thing, just go into a ground rod outside. Nowadays, typically the neutrals are run back into the power and grounded at the poles. So, you know, it works. I just don't like it. So we did take advantage of the plug-in we had, and they are good to go, and we'll move along to our next one.